Good afternoon. Peace be with you. This is the second installment of my autobiography. I've already done the foreword and the dedication and the table of contents, and here is the introduction. Bear with me one moment here. Introduction. By the way, I'll say this periodically throughout my story, maybe once in a while as I feel it. This is not an infomercial for Islam, and I am not trying to convert anybody. I'm just trying to tell my story. If it touches you in a certain way, don't blame it on me. If Allah touches your heart like He touched mine, thank Him. I'm not trying to persuade anybody to do anything. I'm just trying to express myself, just so you all get it straight. Okay? This is the introduction. This is my spiritual autobiography. The story of how and why I went from being born into a good and decent Jewish family in 1949 to reverting to Islam at the age of 60 in 2009. You will not find this book to be a dry religious treatise. Quite the contrary. It was not written on a strict linear timeline. It frequently flashes forward and backward in time, much more like a chat over coffee than a dissertation. So pour a cup of whatever suits you. Sit back and enjoy. There are many people in my life who I love. I do not talk about many of them. They know who they are. There are many places and things in my life that are dear to me. I do not talk about them much either. I have made a sincere effort to stay focused on the purpose of this book, to record my spiritual journey from Judaism to Islam. Therefore, the people and places who and that are mentioned are key to the journey of my transformation from Judaism to Islam. And to all the rest, I love you dearly. Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Forgive me if I get emotional. No, on second thought, don't. Don't forgive me if I get emotional. It's part of my story. It's a big part of the story. Emotions have a lot to do with life, don't they, folks? Chapter 1. My first spiritual teachers, my parents. My earliest memory of anything religious was watching and hearing my Jewish mother cover her head with a little blue velvet embroidered shawl on Friday evenings around sundown. As the delicious homemade kosher dinner smells wafted from the kitchen and filled our home, she would light the Sabbath candles, slowly making circles with her hands around the glowing flames, and then bring them to her face and cover it with them and speak softly and quietly for a little while in a manner that was unique to that moment on Friday evenings. My mother did not pray to God, per se. Rather, she talked to God, and she was asking Him to bless her family near and far, and no doubt for peace on earth. When she finished and smiled at us kids, there were 4 of us, her eyes were usually a bit moist, enhancing their beautiful light blue color. I had the honor for a while, as a child, of cleaning the 7 candelabras, the 7 little candelabra holders every Friday afternoon, spreading out old newspaper on part of the kitchen table as my mother cooked dinner, scraping out the old wax from the previous week and setting the fresh candles by melting the bottoms a little and placing them on the holders. There was 1 candle for each member of our family, 4 kids plus our folks, plus 1 in the center to light them, representing God. She was not into talking to rabbis or teachers much. She used to say, I don't deal with the middlemen, I deal with the top. She took it literally and personally. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. This is the essential monotheistic creed of the children of Israel. The Jewish people at the time of the law was sent down to Moses, peace be upon him. Even before Abraham, peace be upon him, Muslims call him Ibrahim, submitted to Allah and became submitted to Him into monotheism. He was neither Jew nor Christian, but among the submitters to Allah, which is what Muslim means. That creed made an impression to this day. However, I do see the value of some talking with teachers and scholars. My mother was not a religious woman in the religious sense of the word, did not go to temple much, did not know Hebrew or study Torah. To her, religion was all about character. Be a mensch. Her words still ring in my ears. A mensch is the highest compliment a human being can be given in the Yiddish culture and language, which was spoken by Jews of Eastern European descent. It stood for someone who was responsible, trustworthy, good-hearted, high integrity, down-to-earth, a decent human being. When you're right, and when you're wrong. She taught us this, and she walked her talk. She taught us to back off when we were wrong and to stand our ground when we were right. I knew many folks who acted religious but did not do right by people, and I knew folks who were not into religion at all but treated people right. The best of all worlds is to have both going on, of course. Later, when I became Muslim, I learned that even if one is right, it is better to walk away from an argument with a closed-minded person. And for any Muslim who did that, Allah would prepare a home in paradise. Let me fix this. It slipped a little bit. As I recall, my quiet father would be like that a lot. My father would come home from work on Friday evenings, usually with a fresh challah, a braided egg bread, the traditional Sabbath bread, greet us all, go wash up, roll up his sleeves halfway, loosen his tie, come to the table and put on his little yarmulke, his skull cap, and he would sing the Kiddush, the prayer of thanks over a little cup of grape wine, giving thanks for all the fruits of the vine. The rest of us had grape juice until we were older, and then he would say the prayer of thanks and blessing on the bread. And then we would have our Friday evening Sabbath dinner. My father had a very beautiful baritone bass singing voice. He loved to sing the prayers and blessings to God. It was his moment to shine before God and his family, and shine he did. He shines in my memories even now, as does my mother, who both instilled in their 4 children the reality of monotheism, of there being only one God worthy of worship, who created the heavens and the earth, who created all beings and all things. And I'm going to stop now for a moment. We're in the middle of chapter 1. Peace be with you.